So before I begin, I need to introduce you to my sumo. You know, he comes with me everywhere. Who knew? He's the guy who's constantly telling me negative things in my head. And for 10 years, he was telling me that I was the only one in the world going through perimenopause and menopause, and that I was alone, that I shouldn't trust how I feel, and that I should just suffer in silence. And also, I gotta tell you, every day he tells me I'm fat. Do you have one of these guys? Yeah. They like to be in charge, you know? So we have to push them aside so we can talk shmurshki. Shmurshki means woman. It also means vagina. So I have a shmurshki, and I am a shmurshki. Actually, I'm a shmurshki in PM&M. Perimenopause and menopause is such a mouthful that I shortened it. And, you know, it's way more fun, and besides, it reminds me of something delicious. Since I began PM&M, I have become kind of a PM&M missionary. I talk to people everywhere. I mean, it's, you know, that's my husband over there. It's rather annoying, I'm sure to him. I mean, I'm talking to people in elevators, in the grocery store, at the beauty salon, at the Southwest airline, security line, which is enormous. I get a lot of shmurshki talking there. And here's what I found out. Every shmurshki has their own story. And so I included these stories in my new book, Shmurshki, The Pursuit of Hormone Happiness. After all, we're all in this together. You are not alone. As a matter of fact, there's over 50 million shmurshkis in menopause in North America. Okay? If you add to that their husbands or their partners, their children, you're up to about 150 million people affected by PM&M. It's huge. My story began when I was in my late 40s. It was, the best word I can use to describe it is isolation. All of a sudden, I started not to be able to sleep. Then, I lost my memory. I really couldn't concentrate. You know, I would look at my son and my husband and my daughter, and honestly, sometimes I would forget their names. It was so embarrassing, and I was mortified and really anxiety-ridden. And so what I did was, I didn't want to go out much. I didn't want to embarrass myself. And my sumo was huge. You know, he was telling me, "You're a loser." And I was alone, and I was isolated. Many of us feel lost and alone and isolated because we don't know what's happening to us. It's really difficult. And really, I can't begin to tell you how many emails I get every day and messages from women all over, not just in the United States. And most of them are saying, "I feel like I'm losing it." And they list all their symptoms, and the last line of almost every email I get is this menopause?" And so we put together a video I wanted to share with you. Forgive that little awkwardness because, you know, we're new at this. But I think it might, you know, ring true for some of you, so take a look at this. So you recognize anything? Anybody know? Just a little bit. Exactly. So here's the thing. We know our bodies. We know when something's wrong. But there's such a stigma around PM&M that we really don't educate ourselves. And instead, we listen to our sumo, and we don't trust how we feel. So here's what I want to tell you. When it comes to the shmershki, you got to think inside the box. Here's Lorraine's story. Let me share this with you. Lorraine was in PM&M. She had no idea that she was in PM&M. She started by being really depressed. She felt her whole world was kind of crumbling around her. She went to her doctor, and her doctor prescribed antidepressant for her. She took them, but she didn't feel better. She did that for 5 years. For 5 years, she suffered. And on top of it, she gained 35 pounds. She wasn't thinking inside the box. She didn't trust how she felt. She listened to her sumo, who told her, you know what, your doctor gave you this, you just need to suck it up, this is how your life's going to be. It wasn't until we talked that she finally realized she didn't have to suffer. I shared my new book with her. She learned from the book that you have to get a doctor who specializes in PM&M. And she did that. And her doctor took a blood test and actually checked her hormones. And then she also used a tool we put in the back of the book. We have what it's called a symptoms chart. And I've got over 30 symptoms in the back of that book. And I've gotten those symptoms from all the shmershkis I talk to, and doctors and pharmacists have helped me. And I put together a chart that's really easy. I promise you. It's really easy to chart how you feel. And it's divided up between physical and emotional. And you can take that in with you and use it as a tool to communicate to your doctor who says, so tell me how you feel. And you want to say, yeah, you got 3 hours, and instead he's got 15 minutes. So he or she. So, this tool is really wonderful, and I hope that you'll use it to help you. But trust how you feel. And here's the end of that story. She got the help she needed. Her doctor developed a whole new program for her. And I just got an email from her, and she feels great, and she's lost over 40 pounds. So here's the thing. If you don't feel good, do something about it. Reaching out is in, and suffering in silence is out. Here's John's story. He and his wife suffered in silence. He told me this story. It was so sweet. He called his wife the love of his life. He said they had the best marriage, and then suddenly she didn't want to have sex anymore. And so, they became kind of friends instead of lovers. It was really difficult and confusing. And their communication totally broke down between them. And he said they got divorced. And he told me he had no idea this could be PM&M. He had no idea that a low estrogen can cause your shmershki to take a trip to the Sahara Desert. You know what I'm saying? It gets dry. And he had no idea that sex can hurt when that happens. He didn't know. He also didn't know that low testosterone levels can cause a low libido. So he personalized the whole thing, and he said he really thought his wife didn't love him anymore. And he felt that if he had had this information, he and his love of his life would still be married today. It's a pretty powerful story. So we have to reach out for the help that we need and deserve. And shrink that huge sumo that's telling you that you need to suffer. Yeah, that sumo's still telling me I'm fat all the time, but let me tell you. He starts out really, really big, But when you understand that you should trust yourself, you're not alone, and you should get the help that you need. Look at him. He gets really small. I'm so proud to be here today, and I really have to tell you all, I think it's so great that you're here because you want to educate and empower yourself. That is so wonderful. We in Shmersky land, we call these events Shmersky parties. Anytime Shmerskys get together and they talk PM&M, we call them a Shmersky party. You know, we love to party. You know how we love to party. So we have people giving parties all over the United States this month, next month, and the next month to celebrate the Shmersky movement. If you want to invite your friends over and talk PM&M and share, you know, email me, let me know. We'll talk about it. So, Vita and the doctors here, I just want to applaud you because thanks to you, really, we all are going to learn and we all are going to get the help we need. Every Shmersky has a story. Every one of us. We need to share. We need to share the wisdom of our experiences. But I can tell you one thing, that every one of us has one goal, and that is the pursuit of hormone happiness. So, good luck, and go Shmerskys.